Live.
Yeah, David hasn't even spoken yet.
Yeah. No speaking for
Hey, it's the
me.
David,
pre-show,
you don't even have a
everybody.
picture on your thing anymore? I mean, you've always been phoning it in
What
with
lazy
these
ass.
images.
I mean, what a lazy. Jeez, man. Come on, bro.
Apparently,
Wasn't it Kaneda for the Akira show or something?
It was.
It was.
It was.
It was.
It was.
It's not letting me edit photos at the moment because I don't have an account with StreamYard. So
how were you doing it before?
I was doing it through Google.
It was grabbing his homepage image. I've shared the show out to enough groups to hell with it. Yeah, it's the pre-show, everybody. Welcome. You know, let us know if you're here. There's nobody watching, but who cares? What are we gonna do on the show? Segment 1. I have
talk about comic books.
Shut up, Dave. You always say that. No shit. We are gonna cover Marvel Comics moving their distribution to Penguin Random House. That's got a lot of different facets to it. I'm sure we can waste some time there because it was kind of a shit week.
Yeah, I'd like for you to actually explain it to me. I mean, I only just saw the headline. I didn't actually.
Great. They're having a Name Nightwing's Dog contest.
Yep, I saw that.
We'll talk about that. That'll be fun.
Don't really like the choices though.
Yeah, I hate the choices. I have them. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about the Suicide Squad trailer. We will have mad Godzilla and Kong hype. And we'll talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, Mutt. They should have come up with something better than the choices that they have. Whatever. We also have great food news and a review, a follow-up to old food news with a review.
That's your cue, David.
Yeah, never mind. He's not doing it yet. He's probably trying to wash the taste out of his mouth.
Probably.
There's no moment of destruction because life is just not fair at all. And then we'll talk about comics that came out this week, which also were not very great.
No,
man, I'm really pumping everybody up.
Yeah, it was a really weird week for comics this week.
I only got one comic this week, actually, so mine's going to be a short list.
Oh my gosh. Was it Batman Superman?
No.
Oh, I figured you were going to pick that up. It was quite good. It made my list. Anyway.
I should have picked that up.
It was good. It was really fun. We did Geekterion last week. It was Akira. It was quite good.
Akira!
Tetsuo! It was quite good.
Grenada!
The next one that we're doing is The Fifth Element, and my dumb ass did not get a photo.
Multipass.
We're going to talk about The Fifth Element. That's sometime
next
month.
Going to be great. That's one of my favorite movies.
It is. It's one of my favorite movies. We'll talk about that sometime in April.
Fifth Element is one of those movies that's referenced all the time without people realizing it's being referenced all the time.
Yeah. It's pop culture when people don't know where it came from. A lot of people don't know where it came from. I like that aspect of it. But that'll be fun. And this coming up Tuesday at 7:30 Central Time, we're doing the top 5 TV shows. I already have my list. I actually rewatched one of the shows on my list over the weekend, and I was blown away just as much through this view as I was the first 3 times I went through.
So what's the over-under on people putting a Star Trek series of some sort on each of our lists?
Pretty good.
I would say I wouldn't even take that bet because I'm pretty sure the bullies, because they usually join us for this, will not have Star Trek on their list. But I think
I probably won't have Star Trek on my list.
Yeah,
wow.
I know I will. I could feel that I could have the whole thing full of Star Trek. It was actually I did pick a franchise, just my favorite franchise, but I actually just put it on as like one big thing. Benson, come on, Benson. Oh. I thought you were talking about the show Benson for a second.
No, he's talking about the director.
He's talking about Luke Benson.
The director
of The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so we'll talk about that. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some Star Trek on the list. Who knows at this point now there can be Star Wars on the list, you know?
There can be, yeah. Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Mandalorian is tempting, but like I feel like
there's also Clone Wars though.
Clone Wars, and we have Rebels.
I don't want to put anything on mine that's not over, you know. So
no, that's fair.
That does rule out Mandalorian. Mandalorian could have come back with a shit 3rd season. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's possible,
that's very unlikely that would happen. So yeah, Fifth Element TV shows. I'm very excited about TV shows. I have a lot of good things that I said about why and how I chose the shows that I picked. So I'm very excited for that. That's Tuesday. All right, well, let's get on. That's it. Let's just do the damn show. You guys.
Let's get it on.
Let's do it.
Which one should I do? Like it matters. Like anyone cares.
You should really roll.
Just no Power Rangers. Hey, yeah, don't judge me.
Go Power Rangers.
Dude, Power Rangers. There's been so many iterations of Power Rangers that you could have like, it's just
There's been so many iterations of Power Rangers that at one point they had every iteration of Power Rangers on the screen at one time.
crossover the years, like Endgame before Endgame.
Oh yeah, it was huge. It was like the final invasion of Earth.
I don't really want to hear about it.
No, I'm more of a
like
purist. I'll just put Super Sentai on my list. Just go straight to the source. I like to read my Power Rangers.
Go with Kamen Rider.
There you go.
Greetings, geeks. Welcome back. This Geek and Comics, our Geekers comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show.
Your co-host Gomer, Adam, Taylor, David.
Yay.
Peeps. The segment 1, we just shoot the shit, really, what we did this week. I did watch the trial of the Chicago 7. Wow, it was very good, but we don't really need to go in detail. But it is Oscar nominated, rightfully so, in so many things. What a weird year for movies, but I'm glad it's got a shout out. Yeah, the quality is so inconsistent it can't be up there. Yeah, you're right. 100%. Talking about Power Rangers. But I did want to present a question to everybody, maybe to do a segment 1. Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Peter Parker hanging out with Iceman and
yeah.
What if they did one with Miles? Who would his amazing friends be? Kamala Khan.
Oh,
well,
I put Miss Marvel.
You could just throw the champions in there, and
I don't want to put all the champions.
Are they supposed to be kind of like the element dynamic, like Iceman
I don't
and Firestar
know.
had going on?
You wanted to do that, I guess you could. I'm not sure of any other characters that quite fit that mold. You know what I mean? Who are because I guess the goal would be to try to pick a young team, who's around the same age as him. And again, Adam said they are doing that with the champions.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, there kind of doesn't need to be this because it already exists in a sense.
Yeah.
Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends was way back before Spider-Man was on the Avengers and already doing team ups all the time.
I mean, you could just throw a lot of those B Spider characters like Silk or people like that onto the team.
No,
but I don't know.
Well, it was made in a time. Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends was made at a time where Spider-Man was the most recognizable Marvel superhero that there was.
He's still probably top 3.
Well, we're talking about in the early '80s.
Yeah,
superheroes. You'd have Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, we talked about this the other day and saying that maybe Iron Man now, because of the MCU, might be ranked up in there, But so what else? Segment 1. Go ahead. Taylor.
I was just saying, I would think, ideally, you'd want to put a couple more characters from the Ultimate Universe in there. So, maybe Ultimate Kitty Pryde or.
What is it? Ultimate Spider Woman? Who is that?
Oh, or Jessica Drew, where it's literally Peter Parker's clone. Yeah.
Yeah, literally Peter Parker's clone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Riley.
Oh my God.
Dude, you're hurting my ears, man.
Yeah, you're loud. What else? You guys do anything fun this week that deserves mentioning?
I finally watched the Snyder Cut. It was okay. It was
I'm sorry.
It was fine. It wasn't a waste of 4 hours. I actually think it was a good movie. I just
watch it all in one chunk?
Do what?
Did you watch it all in one chunk, or did you split it up?
Hell no. I split it up.
It took me 6.5 hours to watch it the first time, man.
Yeah, I split it up. But I've just come to the conclusion that I just don't like Zack Snyder messing around with my DC stuff. But otherwise, I thought it was a fun movie. I just don't really like his style.
Some great action scenes. It's entertaining.
Yeah, it's entertaining as hell.
You're not jumping on the Restore the Snyderverse bandwagon, or
man, no.
No,
man, that's a big deal. They're actually sabotaging. Well, I
saw that. Their review a segment, review bombing Godzilla versus Kong, apparently.
To try to get over it.
Oh,
it doesn't really
bring
make sense.
Godzilla into this.
Like, I don't get the rivalry there. I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's hypocrisy. You know, we're gonna shit on your movie franchise because we want our movie franchise
don't
to
shit
be
on my
successful.
franchise because
Man,
yours suck.
I love the MonsterVerse. I love those Godzilla Kong movies. Especially
MonsterVerse is like
now.
the second best connected universe.
I don't know. It might be
arguably.
That might be that haunted one. What's that horror one that I'm
Oh
always,
yeah.
The Conjuring.
Annabelle. Yeah, The Conjuring. That's pretty dope too, man.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
It's pretty coherent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, I always bring that up. But I have to agree, MonsterVerse is fucking great. But man, come on. I can like both the Snyderverse and the MonsterVerse, and the MonsterVerse is great. I cannot wait to see. We're actually going to talk about.
Well, I mean, that's tribalism at work, man. I mean, it's not just enough for you to like your thing. You have to hate the things that aren't your thing.
Yes. Oh, it's so terrible. We're actually going to talk about Godzilla Kong. We're going to do some hype. I'm going to do it again. We got the hype. Oh, I can't wait. So what else? Anything else? The Snyder Cut was okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. Anything else? Nobody? You guys want to do news?
Yeah, let's do news.
On to the news.
I'm really excited about food news this week because we have a review.
Yay.
All right. Marvel Comics has changed their distribution to Penguin Random House. This is a pretty big deal, okay? They were distributing through Diamond. Diamond was the only distributor to the direct market, to comic book shops, up until last year. And then DC Comics moved things over to Lunar and whatever. There was another one, but now
there was USC or what it was.
Yeah, USC. But now they're just at Lunar, so they have one distributor for DC Comics, and now we have one distributor for Marvel Comics, and when we have a distributor basically for everyone else. And this is, I don't know. There's a lot of different angles here, different aspects of what's going on that I think we should talk about. Diamond will still distribute Marvel Comics, but they will distribute them as a wholesaler, meaning they'll basically just be a middleman for Penguin Random House. Now, before everything happened, Diamond was able to offer a discount. The more you ordered, the cheaper your order would be, but they did not offer free shipping. Now, we're not sure what sort of discounts Penguin Random House is going to offer for quantity, but it does stand to reason that any shop that now has to split up their order is going to...
They're going to get less of a discount.
Which means more cost out of your pocket.
Exactly. But we're not sure, because if they do get direct from Penguin Random House, the shipping cost, the saving shipping cost, because Penguin Random House doesn't pay, charge the store for shipping, might offset what they would otherwise pay by going to Diamond, even with the discount that they would get from Diamond. And also, don't forget, Diamond does more than just comics. Stores are getting other things from Diamond, which also contribute to their overall ordering discount.
Yeah.
So the real thing here for me is kind of complexity. You kind of have to have a fucking equation, a math equation.
Right.
Every week.
It makes ordering a lot harder for all of these shops.
Yeah. And it's not even harder. Right? Because they can just say, fuck it, we're just going to order from them and order from them. But if a shop really wants to pitch their pennies and what small business doesn't, why wouldn't they do the math and be like, okay, if we order Marvel through Diamond this week, we're actually going to save money because we're also ordering 3 statues and a bunch of other shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's also other angles here, right? Like Penguin Random House is a big distributor and known for distributing just regular books to bookstores. They're not going to be doing that for Marvel. Penguin Random House has a deal with DC where they will only ship DC Comics to bookstores. They won't ship another company's, graphic novels to those bookstores. Hatchet is going to be doing all that, which is another party involved in this, right?
Man, this is getting really complicated.
There's a lot of hands in the cookie jar.
Exactly, a lot of hands in the cookie jar. And then you have Lunar sitting over here, right, as a distributor of just DC Comics. But Diamond is going to be distributing Marvel Comics as a wholesaler. So what's to stop Lunar from also distributing Marvel Comics as a wholesaler? And then that adds another level of complexity to the overall, strategy that these stores have to use to try to figure out what's the cheapest route for them to purchase comic books. This seems like a no-brainer to me for Marvel Comics. Why would you want to go through Diamond, who isn't going to help you do the administrative work?
No, Diamond sucks. Diamond has proven over time that they suck.
Yeah, they're not going to help.
And all of this is their fault, honestly, because if they had just like just a modicum of not sucking, they probably could have held on to both DC and Marvel. But I don't know, man. They've just proven over the years.
I know the pandemic shutdown really pissed them off. Okay?
It did,
because it pissed off DC enough to say, "Screw you, we're leaving right now." Marvel took their time and decided to go with Penguin Random House. Now let's look at some positives here. Okay, yes, we're outside of the iron boot of Diamond, the monopoly, and all that. And that's a good thing. Competition breeds, at least that's what they
tell us about the capitalist system.
That's what they keep telling me at work. Prices. Yeah, that's how they keep saying, the capitalists keep telling me that I'm wrong. The Marxist doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Anyway, I digress. So competition breeds, innovation. Maybe things will get better that way. This also, in terms of not just the shops, but in the broader comic book industry and the market, this opens up everybody who's getting Marvel or Penguin Random House novels and books distribution. Every store, every outlet that's getting those now has an opportunity to sell Marvel comics on a monthly and weekly basis. Those are grocery stores. Those are like fucking Sam's Club, I think. It's Penguin Random House.
It's everywhere.
That's all kinds of different places. And that's a good deal. That's awesome. So, again, I don't really have any, I don't know,
you don't really have any angle on this, but it's really interesting. Yeah,
this could go a whole number of directions. Yeah. It's difficult to say whether this is going to be on the level more of a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah,
too early to tell.
Ultimately, though, if I can go back to where I digressed, where I'm sort of not really 100% in favor of capitalism. That's the way I'll put it. This is going to lead to the end of the industry as we know it, and there will be no more paper comics. The technology involved in giving us distributing digital comics is going to have to innovate to make more money, which means we'll get ads and we'll get, Spotify versions of comic books. You know what I mean? Where you pay a flat fee every month and you can just read whatever the hell you want. They've already got them for Marvel and DC.
They already do.
Click this ad for 30 minutes of radio.
You'll get a 30-second ad. I mean, they're going to have to make up that revenue now. Yes, that's the bottom line, Hoosier. LCS is going to hurt no matter how this pans out. The local comic shop is going to take the brunt of most of these changes. Whether or not it's actually financial or just administrative, it's going to cost them money and or resources at the end. And they're the ones who can't handle it. We're talking about fucking Marvel Comics, owned by the biggest entertainment company in the fucking world, and DC Comics, a company owned by the biggest telecommunications company in the fucking world. These guys got money. All right. They got the money, but no, it's going to be the small mom and pop stores that take the brunt of this. And again, capitalism. Okay. Just saying, I'm making my own points, and I don't mean to be making those Marxist points. Sorry. Kickstarter is sending them a thank you card because this hurts indie small press. Now, I don't know. I think this actually it does hurt indie and small press because the discounts are not going to be there. Shops are going to not order as much. You know what I mean? But the publishers in that context are going to have to get more innovative as well. Boom Studios, every time they have a debut or a hot book, they send what they call out a store, one per store variant. This comic shop I go to, when they sell that single book, it pays for every single other book in that run that they bought. You know what I mean? It's just selling that one variant cover. And you can hate the spec market all you want. That's where paper comics are going to go. They're going to become collector's items, and that's all they're.
Well, they already are basically.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, you're saying. I just want to get back to Hoosier's comment because Kickstarter is sending him a thank you card. What he's saying is that this is going to lead to more individuals getting together with other individuals and just doing the damn thing themselves and crowdfunding it, which, again, is capitalism working so badly that it's pushing socialism. Just saying. I'm just saying. Because that's what Kickstarter is all about. Is that
really socialism, though?
It's cutting out the capitalist middlemen that make up most of what capitalism is.
That doesn't make it socialism.
It's definitely more. I would say it's definitely more socialist than the system that we were talking about. That's, you know what I mean? Cutting out all those middlemen, doing the publishing on your own. If Kickstarter is simply the platform that's being used to divvy goods amongst each other, then yeah. Because you're taking the capitalists, the elitists out of the picture. What you do is you have the worker going straight to the consumer.
So you're basically saying in that regard, the workers have seized the means of production.
Exactly. It's not full on, but it's certainly moving the needle in those.
If anything, that's more capitalist because it's people like voting with their wallets or whatever.
It's cottage industry comic books.
Then let's separate the word capitalist from neo-capitalism. Because when I say capitalist, I'm talking about modern day capitalism, which is neo-capitalism, which is an
more like a plutocracy.
Sure.
Man, I thought this was a comic book podcast, not a political science podcast.
Fuck you, Adam.
Okay. Pre-order funding through crowdfunding. Yeah. I'm so for that. You know what I mean? Because you gauge interest beforehand. It's almost like a duality. And there's no way that the companies can do that. The big companies just can't do that. They don't have the ability to gauge that sort of interest. So yeah, it's going to be fun to see how it goes. The likely scenario is this will just be one piece of the overall crumbling of, and the continued crumbling of the comic book industry as we know it. I'm not saying not doom and gloom.
That's been happening for a while.
Exactly. It's been happening, honestly, since the 90s. Yeah. You know, it never stopped. You know, it always tries to crawl back, but I don't know. I think it's time. All right, moving on. Nightwing's got a dog, okay?
Yeah, he does.
In the latest issue of Nightwing, that's number 78 by new writer Tom Taylor, new artist Bruno Redondo. He's got a new furry friend. It sort of played out just like Hawkeye, if you ever
almost exactly. That. It was a little weird.
Exactly, it was a little weird, but he's got a 3-legged pupper now, and it needs a name. And
Tripod.
It's not one of the choices,
and that's ableist, man. Stop. You can vote for your favorite from the list. You have to go to DC Comics. Just search out name Nightwing's dog on Google. I don't have the address, but the dog choices, or the name of the dog, the choices are Haley.
That's probably the best one.
I didn't like Haley.
That's the safest
I don't know.
one.
It's the safest one.
It is definitely the safest one, yeah.
Shadow, Blue, and Hope.
What's the spelling of blue?
BLUE, like the color.
Okay.
Red Rocket. Yeah.
What, we're like blue cheese? What were you?
I went with blue. I actually
BLU.
I like blue.
Blue without the E is just like a crappy '90s gimmick way of spelling it, but whatever. But whatever. I like blue of those choices the best. I think it'd be kind of funny if he named it Damien, because then he could piss off Damian Wayne, his former Robin.
He could kick it around.
It doesn't seem like this is going to have any real story thing to it, but
I doubt it. But yeah,
but it does feel like it's going to be a build-up thing, because I mean, when are they going to write this name into the issue where they name the dog? When is that going to happen? That's going to be a big deal, because that's probably where they're going to reveal it. They're not just going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we named the dog this." They're going to wait till the book comes out and then make a big deal out of it there, which I like. I
like that. That's a cool idea.
It's better than having a phone number to kill Robin. I'll say that. So yeah, that's cool. It's a very weak week. Sorry.
It is.
Moving
for
on.
a lot
now,
of things.
Now it's just screen hype, but James Gunn has directed and produced, and I think he also co-wrote a movie just for Gail Simone, and that was so nice.
It was very nice of him.
It's Suicide Squad, James Gunn's upcoming movie. Now, this is not a sequel. It's not a remake, but it has elements of both a sequel and a remake in it.
It's a pre-sequel.
Yeah, exactly. Look at Hoosier. First appearance and the first named appearance. That's right. It's all about the spec market with Nightwing's fucking dog. Yeah, so it's not really a sequel, but it's not really a remake. It's sort of both.
Yeah, who else even around from the first movie? Harley, Captain Boomerang, and Amanda Waller, right?
Well, and
Rick Flag.
Yeah, Flag.
Is that the same actor? I didn't think.
Yeah,
it is.
I think it is.
Oh, wow, I didn't recognize
Yeah,
him.
it's the same actor. But we got, a couple of great shots of Harley. This is actually my favorite one. There's more color in this single frame from Suicide Squad than in the entire Justice League movie.
You can tell that watching this trailer, it's a James Gunn movie.
You can. You really can. The guy who stole the show for me, and not only that, but eating a person and then ripping another guy.
SpongeBob SquarePants, the Snyder.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's so beautiful and so grotesque at the same time.
It's so great, I love it. Yeah, Idris is better than Smith. Yeah, 100%. I love Idris Elba. I don't mind Will Smith at all, but I think Idris Elba has had some better parts. I don't know.
The trailer did look pretty funny. I think my favorite part of it was John Cena as Peacemaker. If there was a whole beach full of dicks, I would eat every single one of them.
I would gladly eat them all.
I would gladly for justice or whatever. Creator of the Suicide Squad, John Ostrander, is in the movie and made the trailer. He's literally the guy who injects the explosives into the guys.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
That's a very nice nod.
They've done that before. Creators have been in the movie before, but not like a prevalent role in the trailer.
It's fun to see when they incorporate them in clever ways, though.
I think Winter Soldier did it the best when they're just scientists in there, talking to whatever. Never mind. Moving on. Starro is the bad guy, and they're not even hiding
up in this shit.
Oh hell no!
They're not even hiding it.
It's kaiju season.
It's kaiju season. Definitely
gotta show all these giant monsters.
Oh, they're both by Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw that footage earlier with them, like the I guess it was the teaser trailer with them on the building, and the Justice League are supposedly around. I think this is going to be a play off of the first time the Justice League got together in the comics, where yes, Starro invades, but really it's going to be the Suicide Squad who saved the day and not.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad's not there to take out Starro. They're there for something else.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. A very cool trailer, and I hope the movie pans out.
Me too.
That's going to be on HBO Max, just like. And get fucking hype. I mean, it's not really a challenge, is it?
No, not really. But we all know where this is really going to go.
Is it really a fight at this point? Is it really a fight? It's a giant monkey.
I mean,
literally the lead singer of the band at Chuck E. Cheese.
But hey, he knows how
the
to
rocket
make
fire
cool.
explosion.
Yeah.
What the hell,
Fuck
man?
you for knowing the name of the band. But it's this guy with a weapon. Of course, he needs a weapon.
Well, he needs a weapon. Yeah, I mean, all of us. I think
Taylor's like, yeah, he needs a gun or
he does. He needs something because, I think all of us are pretty squarely in Camp Godzilla on the panel here because, Godzilla would just mop the floor with King Kong unless you give him something to work with.
Yeah.
Right? The original, they had to give him electric powers.
I remember that.
They had to scale They had to scale King Kong up to fight Godzilla, and he had to have electric powers. In the legendary Godzilla film, the first legendary Godzilla film, Godzilla was fighting two creatures at one time, both mutos.
Ooh, so what are you saying? It was unfair, Godzilla? Come on, he's a nuclear dinosaur.
What's your point here?
Yeah.
That's no point.
Did you see him kick the shit out of
He
that
kicked that shit
three-headed
out of
dragon?
two creatures in one
Well,
film.
in
and he
the
kicked the shit out
first
of
Kong movie, he had to fight a shit ton of those skull whatever
Yeah.
thingies.
Skull Runners.
Yeah.
But they were no Godzilla scale monsters.
So I'm
Even
excited.
the big one wasn't as
This is
big.
March
No
31st.
monsters are Godzilla scale monsters. That's the fucking point. He's the king of the monsters.
Yeah, he's the king.
Especially the American Godzilla, because that dude is fat.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, dude,
He's thick.
he's husky.
He's thick.
He is
thick with
husky.
2 C's.
He is husky, man. But yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Well, these poor assholes flying their helicopters around the monster. I'm sorry, that's just never ends well. Don't fly your helicopter around the monsters.
We've already seen that in the trailer, flying jets around. It's not safe.
Yeah, it's not safe. Man, I'm so stoked for this. That's March 31st, so we will
It's
be
this
having.
Wednesday.
Yes, it's this Wednesday. We will be talking the hell out of this movie.
Oh, but that
Next
actually
week.
coincides with another reasonably sized bit of news that apparently Regal is going to be reopening next month in time to be showing the Godzilla vs. Kong movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's still limited capacity in most places.
Yeah. I should be fully vaccinated by the end of April, and I definitely want to see this on the big screen if I can.
I think this is the sort of movie that is like one of the only reasons to keep movie theaters open, at all in general. These big giant spectacles, yeah, it's a donkey. It's got not Godzilla versus Donkey Kong, okay? It's just Kong.
Yeah,
But-
like they don't have to like race each other in go-karts or
Yeah.
anything to
Honestly,
Man,
if
Godzilla
King
on
Kong-
Rainbow Road.
If King Kong picked up a giant barrel and threw it at Godzilla, that would be pretty fun.
That would be pretty dope. Nintendo will sue them. I know how Nintendo works. Okay,
All we
will
need,
sue the hell out of them.
all we need is Gamera to show up and he be blue.
Yeah, right.
Or like they make like Kong a giant necktie to put on or something.
Hey,
initials on
hey,
it.
when this movie comes out,
Yeah.
give some of them deep fakers a few days.
Right.
We will have a Donkey Kong fighting Godzilla.
Right.
I mean, people have already been doing like Donkey Kong versus Bowser and like a mock-up of like Kong
Yeah.
versus Godzilla
And
stuff.
then they're getting the NFTs on them and making money. Awesome. Yeah. So we'll talk about that movie in depth next week. I don't know how in depth we can get about two giant monsters just kicking the shit out of each other.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be a lot of like, do you remember that part when like he
Yeah.
did this? Or like,
Oh,
do you
dude, how
remember
about
that
when he
scene where he did
stormbreakered that motherfucker right in
Yeah.
the chest?
And Godzilla's like, you should have aimed for the head.
He was like, not impressed. Justice Snyder cut. Come on. It'd be cool if they did, right? I know, right? All right, finally in the news, and before we get to food news, Falcon and Winter Soldier, great episode, funny moments, amazing action. Are you kidding me? The trucks,
Oh yeah, that is
my
definitely what is selling this series is all the fantastic action going throughout it. It's just awesome, man.
It's
Yeah.
a mini movie in
This
one.
is definitely
It is.
more of a popcorn show than WandaVision was, but that's not a bad thing. You know, I mean, there's lots of popcorn flicks in the MCU, and
Well, I'm
it's
glad
cool
they're
to see
different,
that translate.
you know?
Yeah, it's cool. It is cool to see that translate to the live action series.
Sure.
That there's a lot of variety in the MCU, and
Mhm.
we're getting that
Yeah.
on the Disney Plus shows too, and that is cool.
With that said, and I don't disagree, there is amazing action. There's also a lot of relevant material going on here, dealing with racism, dealing with politics,
Mental
how
health,
terrible mental health, how terrible the government is. If I could just bring up this amazing portrayal, finally in the MCU, the comic book. I'm pretty sure he was not the original Captain America, but I think it depends on which version of you read, because it's been retconned at least a couple of times. But
Here he's explicitly from the Korean War era.
Yeah,
so
and that
a
is
little bit
there is
after.
and there is a comic book version where that happens, where he is in the Korean War. But Isaiah Bradley abused by the government, reminiscent of the what the hell was that history thing with the black pilots?
The
Tuskegee
Tuskegee Airmen.
Airmen.
Yeah, Tuskegee Airmen. Sorry, very reminiscent of that. And it's almost like the Captain America antithesis. It's almost like anti-government propaganda, but there's still that patriotism in it. And I think this show is really capturing that very well. It's also capturing the other mental health angles very well.
And honestly, that was the most frustrating thing from this episode to me is like both Sam, especially Sam, and then also Bucky just totally shutting themselves down rather than actually talk about their shit because they need to talk about their shit and they're just both doing this like machismo crap instead.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, you know, Marvel's bread and butter ever since Iron Man back in the day is just the character interactions, the way they all talk to each other, interact with each other, and you know, Bucky and Sam, they have great chemistry together. They do. When they're scenes together, they're really funny, but they also you can feel the emotion between the two. You can read the subtext. It's just classic Marvel shit, man.
It reminds me of 80s like those sort of buddy cop
movies.
Yeah,
80s like buddy cop movies.
You know, things like that. Yeah. Lethal Weapon, even, you know.
Yeah. Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, well,
after this one mission, we'll never see each other again.
Yeah, right. And there was
also.
Go ahead.
Sorry, also I really like the way that they're doing with John Walker, where he's not just like a cartoonish asshole. Like we're seeing him like, you know, at his high school. He's a dick.
He's an understandable dick, though.
Yeah, like there's some nuance to his character. They're not just going like, "Here's the dick Captain America, and you hate him. Start hating him, guys." No, I mean they're giving him a character to build off of, and he's, you know, I'm sure still gonna plummet from here, but they're handling it well here at the beginning, I think.
Yeah, agreed. There were also some very funny parts. I liked when Bucky was talking about how he read Lord of the Rings in 1937 when it came out.
The Hobbit.
So, The Hobbit. Just very funny. This whole scene, you know, even as poignant as it was dealing with their individual issues, you know, they still wrapped it around a joke, made it approachable. But then at other times, for this, when they went to Isaiah's house, there's a little boy out in the streets that says, "Hey, you're Black Falcon." Now that's not only a critique, you know, a funny critique on exactly what's going on with this entire scene in terms of race, but it's also a comic book Easter egg in a weird way, because Falcon was actually the very first Black character in comics to not have the word Black in front of his name. So yeah, it was really interesting and poignant to me. I think one of my favorite topics coming up out of this, though, one of the arguments, the nerd arguments, is Captain America using a gun. And they're using this to crap on
He used a gun. Steve Rogers used a gun.
He used a gun
Rogers used
First
a gun
Avenger.
in First Avenger. He actually used one in Winter Soldier, at least in one scene. And he
used it in Avengers when
definitely used it on the boat in Avengers.
The Avengers never followed the "you can't kill anyone" rule.
Oh, dude! If anything, it was the opposite. You know, they actually jokes.
Eventually, even the comics came around to that. That like he was in World War fucking II. Of course
you don't get out of World War II without blood on your hands. And I think, especially in some of the more poignant stories starring these characters, they make it a big deal that he murdered. You know, and it's very difficult to capture that angle, especially in our modern day society, which, you know, it adores violence as much as we do. And that's not a critique. That's just a fact. I'm just saying. So yeah, it wasn't really a big deal for me that he was using a gun. First African-American hero. Yeah. Even if Steve Rogers wasn't using a gun. Because this motherfucker ain't got no superpowers, okay? He's just annoying. He was bragging about having 20/20 vision in this episode. Really? That's your claim to fame, pretty boy? You can see really well? You don't need glasses?
He was still using really that athletic pretty well. And
No, he was using he was throwing the frisbee around really good.
That thing has to be really heavy.
They did show up and kind of dunk on Sam and Bucky for a bit there. You know, they were doing a better job.
But he got his ass kicked too by the
They did, but
because they had fucking superpowers.
But I love the idea that, like, you know, they're like looking through, like, okay, who's our potential Captain America? Well, all these guys have like 2019 vision. Isn't there a single person with 2020 vision? Wait, here's one. John.
You're the chosen one.
There's actually a theory going around. Leroy, one of the comic book bullies, says that he's actually gotten some super soldier serum, and that's
probably
that's going to be part of the story.
I definitely think that his little sidekick guy has something going on with him.
Oh yeah, I don't like him at all.
No, yeah, he's shady as fuck.
He's shady as hell, man. He's shady as hell. But with that said, he's not necessarily shady. This other Captain America, you just sort of hate his guts by proxy.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean?
I do like that approach. I mean,
Yeah,
I like
want him
it
to keep
when
that going.
like, yeah, there's like some nuance to this. It's more realistic to me that way, where they don't just have this guy show up and be like, "Oh, hey, Sam. By the way, my fascist overtones are going to be so overt that you know."
Yeah, yeah. He talked to birds in the early years of the comics.
Did they ever drop that, or can he still technically?
I don't
do
know.
That in the
I think they dance around it, you know. But I wouldn't want that as my power. Talk to birds.
I mean, it's useful.
Well, in the show, they kind of make fun of it with his little robot bird, and everybody hates his, red.
I always wanted to do that.
All right. So yeah, we'll have another. We'll talk about that again next week.
Episode 3.
It's a great show. I'm happy we're getting it. So let's go do some.
Yummy.
Oh, before we actually get into the food news, we have a follow-up to some news we had the other day. I think it was a week or so ago.
Yeah.
Pepsi Mango has hit store shelves, and our roving reporter, a.k.a. David, made his way to his local grocery and/or beverage location to purchase some.
I purchased 1 bottle.
Well, that's some.
I didn't go out and deliberately find a 6-pack,
He's like, "Oh, can I just have a sip of this, please, for the podcast?"
Take one sip, put it back on the shelf.
Oh, that's living dangerously at the age of COVID-19.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a felony. Now.
I think it is a felony. Yeah.
All right, Mango Pepsi. How was it? How delicious was it?
I don't normally drink Pepsi, so just putting that out there, you can definitely taste the mango. And you crack open the bottle and like that
the mango
smell
you in the face.
The mango smell like is there, and it's not like you can taste it afterwards. You taste it while it's not got that mango aftertaste. It's like throughout the whole drink. When you're drinking it, it's like it's there.
All right, so if you don't like mango, don't even bother. Right?
If you don't like mango, don't bother. No mango for you.
Yeah. So if you went to a restaurant and this was on a menu, would you order Mango Pepsi?
No.
Maker's Mark and Diet Dr. Pepper Cream Soda. I'm sure it is.
The Dr. Pepper Cream Soda is pretty good, actually.
I mean, why else would they put mango in Pepsi if they didn't want you to put alcohol in it as well?
Because I guess somewhere
this is definitely going to be used as a mixer.
I guess somewhere there's an overabundance of mangoes, and they're like, "What are we going to do?"
Let's put it in some Pepsi. Okay, so let's get on to this week's news. So another mission for our roving reporter, aka David, as
oh no,
we are getting marshmallow Pepsi.
No.
Oh gosh, that sounds awful.
In the form of Pepsi X Peeps. Obviously missing out on the most in your face word that you could use to describe this, Peepsy. Which I'm not sure why they didn't do that.
I don't know why they didn't do that
either. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to David's take on this one.
I really want to know if I can put this in the microwave.
I mean,
you can. It'll blow it up. But
yeah, you can put anything in a microwave. It just matters, how much insurance you have. Actually, David, this one's going to be a little bit tougher to get your hands on.
Why is that?
It's going to be limited supply, limited time, and you have to win it. It's a sweepstakes.
Great! You have to win it.
It ends at midnight Eastern time, March 31st, and you have to go to Instagram and Twitter and do a bunch of hashtagging or retweeting, or
I really have to work for
whatever
this.
the kids are doing on
eBay.
Hey, better get on that, David. But
yeah, so Dave,
weird tax to punish people for winning a contest like that.
Yeah, I have to use it as a mixer, exactly. However, with that said, what the hell am I going to put in marshmallow Pepsi?
I have no idea. That sounds so gross.
You could probably
maybe some chocolate liqueur.
Is there like some orange liqueur?
I've never
orange
once
and
looked at a
marshmallow?
Marshmallow and
"Man,
cream.
I want that in liquid form."
What the hell is marshmallow and cream? Is that really a thing?
Orange and
It's
cream.
not a thing.
A
Orange and
creamsicle.
cream, is that a thing?
Yes.
Maybe something on the minty side. I don't know.
Peaches and cream is a thing, but the cream they use there is not fucking marshmallow. It's cream.
Well, this isn't going to be marshmallow anyway.
It
This
is.
gonna be
It's
liquid.
marshmallow Pepsi.
I mean-
It's marshmallow flavored Pepsi.
That's what I'm saying. What other? What you want? Marshmallows
point, man.
floating in it like a hot chocolate?
That would be awesome.
That
actually.
would be actually. I would.
Yeah,
wouldn't
my
mind
blood sugar
seeing
would
it.
be like way off
Right?
the charts. But
Right? Put those
hey.
little tea, those little bubble tea things in there.
I mean, if you're drinking Pepsi with peep juice like swirled in, I mean, it's clear that you don't care about your blood sugar. You know,
Yeah.
that
You're
ship
not-
has sailed.
You're not
If you've
hitting
gotten to
the
the point where you're
gym
even
every
considering
day.
this.
This is the drink that will give you diabetes.
Yeah, that's what it should
Yeah.
have a warning on it. So I haven't heard any reviews on the Peepsy yet.
Probably 'cause
Kahlua,
it's
that's
not
not
out.
a bad choice, Hoosier. But Kahlua, that's like the go-to for any sweet drink. You know,
Mhm.
oh, it's that sweet mix, really sweet mixer, or a candy. You know, that's a candy mixer. Put some fucking Kahlua. My old lady
salted
bought some
caramel
peanut
whiskey
butter-
of some kind would
My old
probably
lady
be
bought some
good in there.
peanut butter whiskey. To
When
put
I
in
want
hot
my
chocolate.
Peanut butter
when
whiskey.
I want my
That might be a
coffee
little
not
too
good.
sweet for me.
It was not good. It was
Yeah.
not great. It was not great. So there you go. Nobody will ever have that because you have to tweet for it.
You have to work for it. That sucks.
So that's it. Unfortunately, we do not have a moment of destruction this week because IDW is a bunch of failures who aren't putting out any good books.
Yay!
But we do have other comics to talk. Not many though. Damn. Kind of weak. I'm pretty sure Taylor has like one comic book to talk about, which totally goes against the rules.
Yeah, I told you that already.
Of top three. He's like, these are my top 3 panels of them. They all came from the same book. So I'll go first. Honorable mention: Alien #1, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Salvador LaRocca. I love the art. It's a new era of Alien at Marvel Comics. It started off not great, but it was aight.
It
You know what I
built.
mean?
It did a lot of world building toward
It
in the middle
did,
of
but
it.
it was in a world that we already know.
Yeah, do
Well-
you need a world build for Alien? I mean, I feel like
Exactly.
anybody who's picking it up already knows what they're in for.
Exactly.
Well, there was a lot of elements. Well, that dream sequence, I have questions about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was it was mainly just a bunch of exposition setting up the story of
Yeah.
this issue.
I
And-
like where
and
it's going. Sort of has this anti-capitalism, big corporation sort of, tone that it's taken. There's some
Does a little bit.
revolutionaries in there, some rebels doing bad stuff, that's actually, they think it's good stuff. And it's got that argument, but
This is the beginning of 28 Days Later.
we just want to see aliens murder people.
Oh, I think we
Really, you know what
will.
I mean?
I mean, yeah, and I think you'll get that in the next issue.
Yeah, I do too.
I know.
But
And-
my number
and
3. Oh, go ahead.
I do really like Salvador LaRocca's art in this, but there is this weird thing where like his faces are always super realistic, and then his body's maybe not so much so. So it's kind of like this weird effect. Like, remember, did you guys ever play, what is it, LA Noire, I think was the name of the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Okay.
It kind of feels like that a little bit, where you're like, man, it just looks a little weird. Your face doesn't match your body. But
Yeah.
other than that, it was pretty great art.
It
That
was.
my
It
Cool.
was.
That
It's.
one
It
would
would be
be-
one of my honorable mentions.
Well, you'll have those coming up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just kidding. Sorry, that sounded so mean. My number
Well,
3
you're a
actually
mean
was
person.
Savage Avengers number 16, Gary Duggan and Kev Walker. I caught up on this because, again, it was a really light week for me, and I'm really happy I did. This happens to be a King in Black tie in this issue, but it has members of the Marauders hanging out, and it's sort of a continuation from the King in Black Marauders one-shot that Gary Duggan had wrote earlier in the King in Black event. But this is like the second or third part of that. But it was very good. It's really all about this great pep talk, right? That Conan gives Iceman, which ties directly into this whole new status quo for mutants, especially Omega level mutants, right? At the beginning of the end of the last issue, beginning of this issue, Conan shatters Iceman with his awesome sword, and he's really happy about it. So then the first part of this issue, it's basically Iceman coming back to life And Conan's like, "Oh my god, dude, you're like you're not a man. You're like a god." And this is really cool, you know. This world of man has forgotten its gods. This realm is ruled by false gods in the vanity pocket mirrors they stare into all day, or the coin that is worshipped by most. And now I find that even the gods themselves have forgotten. You know what I mean? It's just really cool writing in regards to the new status quo that mutants have taken. Because they're gods. You know, Magneto has said it in public, you know, to like heads of state. And it's a really cool evolution of Conan, who doesn't have the perspective of the racism, the inherent racism in the Marvel universe, can instantly see how badass Iceman is and be like, "Nah, dude, you're a god." And I thought it worked really well as a King in Black tie-in, as an issue of Savage Avengers, and you know, Gary Duggan doing what he does because he just writes everything just so well, and tying his books together for a fun event. I've said it before, and I heard Gary Duggan in an interview how he loves when big events happen, and it forces him to think outside of a box so that he can come up with something that's going to fit within this event. And I just think that's a really cool way of looking at it, and he's done it again, you know, with this. So on a very weak week, Savage Avengers number 16. We'll just go around, I guess, Adam, because Taylor's only got one damn book.
All right.
Adam,
so yeah, I got a couple honorable mentions. Alien, it was just okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Then I also got the 2 X books this week, Excalibur and Cable. They're both kind of the lower rung of the X books, I feel. But they were both still solid, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. But my number 3 book this week, again, this is a very light week. It's
Listen
going
to him making excuses for his pick already.
I know, I am. It's going to be Detective Comics number 1034. Mariko Tamaki, Dan Mora. Main reason why I picked it was because Dan Mora's art is just fantastic. It looks super pretty. Plus, I really dig the Robin backup in it.
What happened in the Robin backup? Because I did not pick this up, and that was the only reason I wanted to pick it up. And I'm like, no, I'm not falling into your trap, DC, by selling me good mini comics in the back of terrible comics.
So basically, Robin learns that that group of people that attacked him, the Lazarus, whatever,
or something.
Yeah, whatever. They're an offshoot of the League of Assassins.
Oh, of course.
So of course, but there's going to be some like big martial arts tournament that they're holding that Robin's going to go to and compete in.
Shit.
And
you know, I'm a sucker for Mortal Kombat.
Enter the dragon.
The bad guys, their champion for their team is Connor Hawk.
Oh,
so it's the return of Connor Hawk for the longest time.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So that's pretty cool.
It's going to be a bait and switch, and it's going to be like a hot dog eating contest like Ten of Swords was.
Probably.
Yeah.
That said, though, going back to actual Detective Comics, I didn't hate the story in here. It was okay. It was really exploring Bruce Wayne being poor. It was exploring his.
Tired of that too.
It's exploring his life in his neighborhood, and so it's a lot of Bruce Wayne going to parties with his neighbors. There's a murder mystery in here.
Won't you? These are the people in your neighborhood.
Oh, see, you went Sesame Street. I went Mr. Rogers.
That is basically what this issue was, though. Was here are all the people in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
But
Master Wayne's neighborhood. Whatever.
It's okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of over that whole rich
out
man
of all of the
man who's still richer than everybody else.
Out of all of the Batman books, this is the one to skip out on if you are looking to skip out on one.
I think Urban Legends is the only one I'm going to be picking up moving forward, and that's a limited.
I like Joker actually. I thought that was.
Yeah, Joker wasn't bad. Damn, yeah, you're right. Joker was not bad. Did you read Harley this week? I know it's still early.
I didn't
either. I
probably should have. I bet it was probably better than...
I know. Riley Rosmo, I think, was doing the art in that.
Yeah.
Damn, see? All right, never mind. David.
Yes.
At number 3.
Okay, honorable mentions. Alien number 1.
Nice, everybody. It really sucks that book wasn't good enough.
It's. I was really tickled with the High Republic, the Star Wars High Republic book, because it captured a lot of that feeling from the old Dark Horse books. And that's what I was kind of hoping for with this book, and it doesn't. There's a lot of questions. I mean, it's an Alien series, so there's certain elements of you kind of already know, but it's like we're getting a mixing of Alien and Prometheus, and I'm not sure that. And then are we continuing like a storyline out of like Alien Resurrection too?
I don't think this is continuing in.
The government experiments with the aliens and all that,
right? They did talk about
there were.
It seems like more like a rehash of that story a little bit.
But it
cool.
I do like the fact that they have a bishop in here.
Oh yeah, there were multiple bishops.
There were multiple bishops.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool. I do like that. That's a nice way of linking the series, the movies with this comic book series.
Well, and that's taken out of the movies as well. They've used that same actor to play Mr. Wayland in that Predators movie to sort of homage that as well. It's sort of the same thing, but cool. Number 3. Oh, I'm sorry, unless you had other honorable mentions.
No.
There weren't enough books this week to have more.
Well, I the only other honorable mention I would probably put down is Barbalian number 5. Yeah. Which is the final issue of this series.
I need to catch up on I need to read.
But he's beaten by the bounty hunter, taken back to Mars, ends up like fighting like the king of Mars, kills the king of Mars, kills his bounty, or like whips his bounty hunter, goes back to Earth to help fight in a gay rights riot.
Oh, cool.
And Dr. Day shows up. And it pretty much is just basically Barbalian coming to terms with that even though he lives on Earth, he can't necessarily be disguise himself as a human because that puts other people in danger. So he kind of comes to terms with I can be part of human society, but I can't be part of human society. I have to be Barbalian.
All right.
But my number 3 pick is Die number 14.
Oh, I did not read this either.
Which it was it diverted from like the storyline that we've been accustomed to. Basically, we have Barack Obama, or a Barack Obama-esque character, going into outer space to compete in a intergalactic boxing match.
So the cover was basically the story.
There's like a 2-page spread that's that great Muhammad Ali versus Superman.
Nice
artwork, but if you look at the faces in the crowd, it's like various aliens from different movies and comic books and stuff. I spotted like the aliens from Planet X from Godzilla, like Godzilla or Monster Zero.
Yeah.
There was a movie called Arena back in the 90s. And there was this is what that book felt like. For most of it, but there was in the crowd there was the alien rat guy that was the manager.
What's he fighting for, though? What's he fighting for?
He was fighting for Earth. Apparently, something had come up where Earth was some issue had come up. I guess some aliens wanted to build a highway or something.
Yeah, that's the plot of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, I know. But he had to go. He went to fight for Earth because if he didn't fight for Earth, Earth was going to be lost, is what they say.
Okay.
But he goes. The gloves he's wearing, they're these hope and change. They're actually like these. Not infinity gauntlet level things, but they help him fight the aliens, and he ends up like, it's like intergalactic Rocky. He's got messed up at the end.
Yeah, I missed this too, man. I should have grabbed it.
But it was a nice divergence from Die as we know and love it.
Fun. Taylor, do you want to go now or wait till we're doing our number 1s?
I'll just go ahead and go now.
And then you can, and for number 2, you can just do the same book and just do like your review differently.
No, I'll just leave early after I'm done here. But
bye, Felicia.
Oh man.
But hey, I'm only doing one book, but I guarantee you, I'm actually doing a book people actually read this week. So shut the fuck up, David. But either way, Black Panther number 24. It basically was one big fight scene. But it was really well drawn. They almost always are in this book. Kunai, I think, was still doing the artwork on these. it was cool seeing a lot of different characters drawn in to fight for Wakanda here. And something that was a fun touch was that the guy who was coordinating everything kept referring to stuff in D&D terms. Like we're doing like Operation Mind Flayer or like
weird.
Like he called himself Beholder, I think.
And these are Wakandans, or he got people from?
Oh no, it's a bunch of African American heroes. You have like Luke Cage. You have
cool.
What's her name? Misty Knight.
Yeah.
Prodigy was the Beholder.
Cool.
Miles was there, of course. Ironheart was there. But
yeah. Now, this is the penultimate issue. There's just one more issue of this.
Yeah. Right? This was just like one big like wall-to-wall fight, but it was well drawn. This book has been consistently good, even if I think a lot more so than others that hiatus really, really hurt it. But either way, so that's it.
Good choice. Moving on, number 2, Batman Superman number 16 for me. Just really fun work with the art. It was Gene Luen Yang, Ivan Rice, and Danny Mickey. This is actually all one giant page. You'll notice that it's 2 sets of film. The top set of film, or the top film strip, is a Superman story, and the bottom one is a Batman story. And it continues like this throughout the entire book.
That's cool.
It was very cool until their stories sort of converge together. And then on the last page, it's revealed that there's actually some sort of alien archive that this film is part of that's starting another story. And it's like a story from their past. It was like, it felt really traditional and really old style. Robin is doing his thing. There's Alfred is there talking about, his homework. Joker doesn't really feel like he's a murderer here. You know what I mean? It's that sort of throwback. So I'm interested to see where Yang takes the rest of this story, because it didn't feel like a modern story until we got to that last page. And then it was just like a hook. I'm like, all right, I got to know what is going on. But it really grabs you with the art, the design, the art design that they're doing here with the 2 film strips. And honestly, you could take these and Photoshop them right next to each other, every one of these pages, and it would be a long, like 30 pages long comic. It was just like, that is just really, really rad. So even if just for that reason, the nice presentation, it deserved a spot on the top 3, but it was also very well written and had that nice cliffhanger at the end that makes me want to pick up the next issue. So yeah, great story, great issue, great art. It's fun to read good DC again, especially after Future State.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely need to go and pick this back up, because man,
it's a new creator. It's his first issue. It's Yang's first issue.
Yeah, and I've been following all of Yang's other work at DC. It was all good. I enjoyed his new Superman. His Terrifics was good up until they stopped publishing it.
Yeah, I think that's actually having a digital release at some point.
Yes, it is having a digital release, but I wasn't collecting it digitally. So.
Exactly. Yeah. But honestly, good book. Taylor, I think you slept on this one. I think you should
probably.
Pick it up. Yeah. I just know you like that writer. You're the one who turned me onto him, I think, originally.
Well, the main thing is I wasn't able to go into the shop this week, so that I was only able to get what was in my box, really.
Yeah, that sucks. Adam, number 2.
My number 2 was Scumbag number 6, by Rick Remender and Bangle. This issue.
That is my number 2.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
This is basically the first issue for the next arc. This time he's fighting hippies. This is just a consistently good book. It's well written. It's funny.
We're finally getting to the moon base is what we're doing.
We're getting to a moon base. I'm just ready for this book to start evolving a little bit.
Yes.
I think I've kind of gotten my mileage out of all of the Coke jokes and all of that. That said, though, it's still well done. The art is fantastic. Bangle's great. I love the Scumbags like sex mansion thing that he has going on.
He gets his private island, is what it is.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that is the agent meant to like oversee him and keep an eye on him is just entrenched in the same debauchery as the scumbag himself. I love it.
Yeah.
The Fortress of Solitude, that's what he calls it.
Yeah, Fortress of Solitude.
I really love the little details in this book. Like he has this crack pipe where they
translate.
They installed a translator on it because he's always so fucked up that he can't speak intelligible sentences. So it has to translate everything he says for him, and it's just, and he's giving like a news interview while he's hitting this crack pipe.
Yeah.
That's translating for him.
I tend to agree with you, Adam. I'm getting sick of the drug jokes. They're repetitive, and it's basically the same joke over and over again. But there is still a lot of potential for this character to grow into something a little bit more meaningful. Like right now, he's a double agent. He's working for the bad guys and the good guys.
Yeah.
But there's also this other poignant sort of aspect to it. Like the main villain for this arc is a character that's using sort of this brainwashing technology on social media so that you're not able to cancel her and everybody will think the way she wants them to. So her opinion will always be right. But he's basically doing the same thing. He's utilizing social media for personal gain in the same sort of way. And people are calling him out on it, but he's making these weird excuses. I don't know. It's not quite there. You know what I mean?
It's almost there, but it's not quite. I really want to see in the next issue. I want to see this bad guy because hopefully because that's what really kicked it in the last arc. I think was when you really got to meet the bad guy, and you got that orgy, and you got that great speech about Batman.
Yes.
I want that moment with whoever, with this
Moonflower
or whatever.
Yeah.
I want that moment from her. Hopefully that will help this book move along a little bit.
And honestly, they bring in this girl called Petal. She's obviously a honey trap. Okay, she is there to act the way that the scumbag wants his women to act, just so they can get him to actually do what they need him to do.
Well, that does happen.
But
in
it's
the book.
so apparent. It's so easy to see.
It does happen in the book when they're about to crash in the moon. He's like, "Well, think of somebody you care about, save them." And he's like thinking of that Petal.
Yeah.
But they introduced these 4 new characters at the end of the book, and I don't know if they're super powered or what, but they're obviously
super
powered. They're super powered.
One chick had like a flame on her head or something.
Yeah.
Glowing pink eyes, and the other one had like antlers and was floating. So
yeah. Like I said, I don't like all the recurring jokes. They're repetitive, but my favorite one has got to be the sex robot who has sex with everybody but him.
Yeah.
She's so AI. She's so AI that she's woke and she won't have sex with him, and it's just hilarious.
He keeps so angry about it because
he's so pissed about it.
She keeps inviting everybody to like 3-ways and stuff in front of him.
That did happen in this book too. She talked to the handler.
And this issue actually opens up saying, we always want to gaze on the scumbag. Tony Soprano. It brings up famous, people who. From fiction who are just terrible people that we cannot look away. And I think that's why he makes the book. And I'm getting a little tired of that too. Don't excuse your scumbag every arc. Let him just be the scumbag, I don't know. Like you said, it's almost there.
Almost.
But I'm still on board. Oh no, not Taylor. Taylor, your number 1 is same book. My number 1. It's already been mentioned, but Cable number 9, Jerry Duggan, Phil Noto. I felt this to be pretty deep, man.
It is okay.
There is some funny moments, of course. This is, I think, the funniest moment.
That was great. They're torturing this demon with kazoos.
Cable is trying to find Strife. So Magic takes him to this demon who knows all kinds of stuff. And they're actually torturing him with the song 500 Miles from the whatever they're called. The
Pretenders?
Is it the Pretenders?
But they're all playing them when they're playing that song with recorders, though.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cool moments like that where Cable is actually talking to people who his older self has relationships with.
Yeah.
And it's just not the same. And he feels like he can't do it. He can't stop Strife. And he needs the older Cable back to help overcome this problem that he's got.
Well, he feels inadequate. He does not feel like he can live up to what Cable is to everybody else. I mean, the whole theme of this issue is spelled out in the very first page of it with that anonymous quote where it's like, man, everybody's scared of the old man, but nobody cares about the kid. Like,
he's got but he is capable. He's got imposter syndrome. Right? That's what this entire issue is about. Cable having imposter syndrome, and studying that, examining imposter syndrome in the context of a time-traveling future boy who murdered his older self. It's amazing. It's such a unique way to demonstrate how that would work within the context of this new status quo of the X-Men. All right, because young Cable wants to sacrifice himself so that his older self can come back and save the day because he doesn't feel like he is up to the challenge. This says it right here. When the resurrection process was solidified, one of the first questions that came up was duplicate. And you can't have an older and a younger person just because the one time traveled. So if he goes and finds his older self, which he can do, his older self's around somewhere in the timeline. If he wants to bring that Cable back to where they're at, he has to sacrifice himself. And I also love these little notes, where the Stepford Cuckoos and, Madrox Prime,
they
don't
get
really
exceptions.
count. Yeah, they get asterisks, which only the hardcore fans are going to understand.
That was the other thing I liked about this issue is I just like Cable and his relationship with which Cuckoo sister? Esme. And I like his relationship with Emma also, and her.
It's like a mother thing, but
it's like a mother thing, but she's like constantly negging him when he's gone. She's like, he's like, oh, I have to go do this thing. Can you explain it for me? She's like, oh yeah, sure, I got your back. And then as soon as he's gone, she's like, oh, he's just like he just fucking ditched you. He doesn't like you at all.
Yeah, right. Right. But if you think about it, she's also, if you look at the the greater scope of the Summers family tree, she's almost kind of like his stepmom.
Kind of. It's weird. It's
super weird.
The whole Summer relationship thing is. It's dicey.
That
it's all
family tree
over
is like a fucking bonsai.
That family
tree is like a bonsai.
The X-Men as a whole is the most convoluted, messy, sloppy second situation.
Especially their little hideout on the moon.
I love it. It's one of my favorite aspects of the entire, Dawn of X thing.
And they only barely touch it every once in a while. But every time
I read an angle, this is a few weeks ago now, where that's actually becoming a little bit disrespectful to polyamorous people with polyamorous relationships, because
I could
it's
see
almost
that,
like they're not saying 100% that there's a polyamorous relationship. They're using the tease that there's a polyamorous relationship to promote their comic. And honestly, I don't really buy into it, but
I would be surprised if that was the only thing they were allowed to do. I wouldn't be surprised if publishing wasn't
It's like
you can hint at it, but you cannot be explicit.
Exactly. They have been pretty explicit. Gene has been with both Cyclops and Wolverine on panel. That's literally the definition of a polyamorous relationship, because Logan and Scott both know what's going on.
Oh yeah.
So that's literally the definition. So again, that was the whole context of it. Look, it's out in the open now. Everybody knows what is going on with their relationship. And it was done perfectly because they didn't just come out and flat out say, oh, no, this is what's going on. They let it play out within the pages of the book, just like it would actually happen. So that's my favorite aspect of the entire Dawn of X, that house on the moon, man. I love it. It's so weird. Literally, one of their daughters is from an alternate universe, and Cable is their son from the future,
right?
Who came to them
Killed
first as an old
himself.
man, and then went and killed his older self. Dude, it's fucking nuts.
Oh yeah.
And then here's Uncle Logan,
Yep.
hanging
And then their grandpa is a space pirate.
Yeah.
Grandpa space pirate. Oh, I love it.
Oh, and Scott's two brothers are up there too. I mean, including Vulcan, who is like an omnipotent schizophrenic,
Right. Yeah. What's his name's got his own mental issues going on too, hanging out with the Hellions. So
Yeah.
Havoc.
Havoc.
Weirdly enough, Havoc is not the least mentally adjusted member of the family,
Like, Vulcan's like, hold my beer. Watch this. Watch me tear down all of galactic democracy in a single, miniseries. Anyway, Adam, we're going deep in the X-Men woods now.
We are, man.
Number one.
My number one this week was Stray Dogs number 2.
Oh, good choice.
From Tony Fleeks and Trish Forstner. Forstner.
Great.
That's the whole reason to go for this book, man. It's the art, that Dawn Blue style art. This book is probably, in my opinion, this was the best looking book that came out this week.
Yep.
It's just doing more of the murder mystery thing in this issue.
Another dog gets in on it.
Yeah, another dog gets in on
pictures, because this idiot takes pictures.
Yeah, this idiot takes pictures. So the dogs get into his secret room and they find his secret stash of women's clothing that he's not supposed to have, and pictures and all of this stuff.
Yeah,
pictures of his victims, videos of his victims. Because apparently what he does is he takes a dog, goes to a dog park, where he uses that dog to meet unsuspecting women, and then he stalks them. Also owns dogs, yes. Then he stalks those women, and then I guess he kills them, and then he takes those dogs and he brings them home with him.
Yeah, he adopts the now.
Oh, he's collecting trophies.
The dogs are kind of like serial killer trophies.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. And this was touted as like Silence of the Lambs meets All Dogs Go to Heaven. That's
right,
and that's exactly like what's going on.
And so all of these dogs, though, the interesting thing about this series is that the dogs' memories, they don't have long-term memory. They only have short-term memory. So most of these dogs have forgotten their old masters at this point, and they just know this new guy. But they get these flashbacks when they smell things or they see things that they know from their previous master, big things. And in this issue, another dog gets in on it. Another dog sees a picture of her old master and is like, that's my old master.
Yeah.
And so now we have more proof that this guy is killing their old masters.
Yeah. And that's actually really poignant in terms of how trauma sometimes can manifest itself. The mind, especially if you're traumatized at a young age, it can repress certain memories and things like that. And then later, something can bring that memory to the surface. I really think this book is doing not only a great job of doing it, but doing a job that isn't offensive. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's doing it in a meaningful, polite, important way. And I'm not sure if this book is written for kids.
No, it's definitely not.
No.
But I think a kid could read it. Maybe not a kid, a young adult.
A young adult could definitely read this
and get something out of it.
Yeah.
Great book.
It's very accessible for what it is.
It is. It's exactly. I think anybody could pick this up and understand the deeper meanings of, how it's talking about trauma and things like that. David, oddly enough, we're ending with you because Taylor only had one book. What a crazy week. Stinks.
Post Americana number 3.
Oh, I forgot this came out too.
Oh yeah,
read this in trade.
We get a little bit of history with Carolyn and her mother, because we discover that her mother's still alive and she's basically enslaved by the people in the bunker.
Okay.
But Carolyn's mother would be what we would, in like Mad Max terms, a highwayman.
Oh.
So she was protecting people trying to escape out of the wasteland to a safe place.
Okay.
Her mother is sitting on a perch explaining that, we come from a line of lawmen and people who did the right thing, and you're
Does
going
she have
to be
a supercharged car also?
No, she has a supercharged rifle. But she's just explaining to Carolyn that we help people because right now that's the one thing that we can do that we still retain our humanity is by trying to help the survivors survive.
Oh, that's nice.
So Carolyn basically charges this bunker encampment, frees her mother, kills a lot of people, and then reinforcements show up from the bunker and capture them. And then all of a sudden we get another faction that's working.
There's only 5 issues, right?
Yeah, but we get this guy who this new character who based his personality on a comic book character from the past named Night Terror, and he's got basically a werewolf mutant boy that talks like Scooby-Doo. And they rip these guys up, these bunker soldiers up in the most wonderful fashion. It's just one shot, he kills 5 people.
Is this the Steve Stokey?
Yeah, this is the Steve Stokey.
I think it's pronounced Stokey. I looked around.
I can put it into like a Google pronouncer or something.
Well, no,
and find
I
out.
went to an interview and they introduced him as Steve Stokey.
But
yeah, that's a
great art.
Pick. Yeah, really good art.
We find out that there's another faction that opposes the bunker, that there are people in the bunker who weren't part of the resistance that don't like Hawthorne, and things are coming to a boiling point. And it's beautiful artwork throughout the book. Violently beautiful
I think
artwork.
that's the main selling point of the book is that art.
But I love this. I love this series, and I want it to continue.
It's not. It's ending at issue 5.
Poop.
I think 2 more issues.
And 1 more issue.
Well, cool. I'm so glad we were able to find some diamonds in the pile of shit that was this week's comics. Next week is looking a little bit better.
Yeah, we have that problem next week.
Yeah.
Quite
a bit better.
I'm looking at a lot of stuff on previews right now, and the big book that I'm excited for is Witch Blood.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about all those tomorrow night on the preview show. Definitely tune in 7 o'clock. We do that every week. Talk about every damn book that's coming out that week that's worth talking about, and even some that aren't, worth talking about. But you listen this long, thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your pa. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're all over all of those. We're also on Patreon. If you want all of those links, go to outrightgeeky.com. We got all of the links right there at that little terrible, crappy landing page. But really, that's all you need is the links. We're doing all kinds of great stuff. We got this show every Sunday. We just mentioned the preview show every Monday. This Tuesday is Top 5. Our Top 5 TV shows is what we're doing. We're hanging out with the bullies. My list is done. I can't wait to talk about all of this great stuff. I'm so happy. Which means it's probably going to suck. So tune in then. Tuesday, I think we're doing it 7:30 Central Time on Tuesday. Yeah, I think that's it. Keep coming back because Big Willie got a bunch of shit going on all week. The Comic Book Bullies are going to be recording tonight, probably around midnight Central Time, if you're going to be around for that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Oh, what did I do? Did I hit the wrong button? So, yeah. Thanks everybody for listening, but most of all, thanks to these 3 jokers for hanging out with this joker.
Oh, you're so
anytime,
kind,
man.
We are gonna do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel. We're doing this again.